As you can see, today I've dressed right up because today is miserable. The weather, it was bound to happen. And now there's a new format for the videos. Because since I don't have time to write, and since I have to write a book, then I'm dictating it. So there's going to be periods of silence. There won't be stutters and ums and likes and filler words such as those. There's going to be another video on sexuality coming up. It has to be redone. Things are moving so fast in that department. And there's going to be more and more Spanish videos. At first, of course, they're going to be memorized, probably either written by me or taken from some text. It's kind of like a giant skid row with all the graffitis. The poverty is pretty stark. There is less self-sufficiency here than in Laos. So the difference is quite palpable. Om Surya Namaha. Om Sharanyaya Namaha. Om Shivaya Namaha. Today is my first Phoenix Trine. Trino en español. Hoy es mi primera trino de Phoenix. That's right, it's coming along. It's coming. I'm warm. So talking about the Phoenix. The Phoenix frequency, which every being has, including Mother Earth and every human being from the time when the spirit came into their body, which is to say their first breath. Spirit, spiritus, breath. every 138 degrees. Then that frequency, of course, fractals down. So one can do the phoenix of the phoenix. But really powerful points are also known as sextiles every sixth. So sextiles, trines, oppositions. Therefore, 46 degrees after a phoenix point is the first trine. At 69 degrees is the opposition. And last time, on my last opposition, on my last phoenix opposition, I mischanneled it. So it's very easy. The phoenix frequency is very powerful. It is imbued with the power of change. So it will throw off whatever momentum is happening. Now, there are ways with intent and some discipline, and especially with some foresight, which is what this talk is about. Having foresight of these events, which is the main benefit of astrology. One can be more prepared in a better posture for this sort of event. So that's what I'm planning today. Essentially, I'm making no plan other than to channel any sort of frustration into golden magic. And of course, experience is going to help. So essentially, most of the time, when one is practicing intent, which I also call golden magic, one is getting ready for such events. The street is pretty cool here. It's all stones. That's the street I moved in at. Tapachula. So what are the practices? Well, making a friend of our death, or becoming acquainted, comfortable, familiar, contemplating our death as much as possible. So here, this is a perfect time and place to do just that, and perhaps you can capture some of the power of that practice. Well, that's a really good exercise with the camera running. It's like my mind wants to worry about this. It makes it a bit more challenging. Because contemplating our death is letting go of literally everything, including the mind. Another important practice is to eject or to purify out impurities. Now, one of the most pernicious and prevalent form of impurities comes from what the common man calls music. Here, look at that dog. It's very ketu. I didn't realize until recently that I have an affinity, a bond with dogs, which astrologically are linked with Ketu. I should have been killed by dogs once, and they let me go. And now I can look back on that event with a different perspective. So, music. If you listen to music, almost any music, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're probably listening to the wrong kind of music. Anything that you picked up from high school or from your parents, unless your parents are monks or some such really healing oriented people. 99.9% of what people call music is mostly spiritual impurities delivered through rhythm. So yes, there is the weaponization of microwave, like 5G or whatever. But the number one vehicle of delivery of the weaponization of black magic, which stands head and shoulders above all, is sound. Not just music like that radio. Words, palabras. Las palabras son armas. Words are weapons. Be careful what you listen to. Pop music is poison. Rock, rap, heavy metal, all these things are poisons. Basically, almost anything that has lyrics that isn't harmonious. Gurdjieff talked about it, not so explicitly as I, but he did mention it, and he spent a lot of his energy on creating musical dances, sacred music, objective music. And people nowadays are realizing also that one of the main mode of healing is with frequencies. So what I have found to help me a lot is mantras, and I have been singing them more and more. For example, last night I was dealing with impurities in the middle of the night, which were keeping me up. So I lit up a candle and I sang my mantra, one of my favorite, Green Tara. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Svaha. 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 So I've arrived at the market where I'll be picking up probably a sweet potato to go with my already made breakfast. And later today, maybe, since this is my Phoenix Trine, I'll shoot a video about sexuality and sexual energy, which is the main topic of our lives. So until then, be magical, sing lots of mantras, rise early, and drink as much as your water as you can. Farewell, infinite magical beings.